Okay. All right. So on page 8, you're going to see in the directions, it actually has, we're looking for one solution, or we could have infinitely many solutions, or we could have no solutions at all. So the title of this lesson says 3 types of solutions for your equations, and then we're going to also go back and do some more fraction problems. So the first one, you should have a solution. So you should have just done 32 minus 8v equals negative 6v plus 36. Okay, then we would just get all our v's to one side. So we're going to have 32 equals to 2v plus 36. Subtract our 36. Okay, that's going to give us negative 4 equals to 2v. Divide by 2. V equals negative 2. How many people got negative 2? Okay, great. So we call that a solution. We call that one solution. Okay, so that's what we've been getting for all of the problems we've been working so far, is one solution. So now let's take a look to see what a no solution would look like. So let's do question number 2. We're going to bring down the minus 4, the negative 4 that is, minus 5a. We're going to distribute the negative, so that's going to give us negative 1 minus 5a. Okay, so now when we try to get all our variables to one side, you're going to see that they actually cancel out on both sides. Now, that's not why it's no solution, but what's left is going to be the reason why there's no solution. So I'm going to bring down the negative 4 over here. I'm going to bring down the negative 1 over here. So that's not a true statement, so I'm going to put a slash through it. Negative 4 does not equal to negative 1. Okay, because according to the reflexive property, a number has to equal to itself. So negative 4 does not equal to negative 1, so that's why it is no solution. Okay, not because the variables cancel out, but what was left was not a true statement. Okay, we're going to get into all reals in a minute. Give me 1 second and then I'll answer your question, okay? Now, for no solution, I actually want you to write out no solution. You can abbreviate that. We're not going to use the symbol with the 0 and the slash through it. We're going to actually write out no solution. Okay. Now, another thing I want to say is when you're working a problem and you get like a number that doesn't equal to itself, please make sure you say that, because if you leave it at this step right here, if you just leave it right there and you don't say no solution, you only get partial credit on a test or quiz. Okay, you have to tell me what this means, because you got to say this means it's no solution. Okay, so don't just stop it there without stating that there's not a solution to the problem. All right, let's do the next one. I'm going to bring down the negative 7 minus 5n. I'm going to distribute the negative. And notice the same thing is going to happen here, where the n's will cancel out on both sides. However, I have a true statement at the end. Negative 7 does equal to negative 7. That is true. So this is where we will say you don't have to write out infinitely many solutions. You could just simply say all reals. I mean, any real number would work. You could also use the double R symbol, which also stands for all real numbers. Okay, so those are your options when there are infinitely many solutions. If you want to actually write out the word infinitely many solutions, you can. But these are a little bit shorter by saying all reals or using this symbol for all reals. Now, the bottom we're going to kind of talk about like we did on the warm-up today with these fractions. So we're going to practice getting the least common multiple, which is the same thing as least common denominator. So let's look at number 6. I'm not going to start with 4 and 5. So let's look at question number 6. So, easy question. What is the LCD for 2, 5, and 10? 10. Very good. So I need to multiply the first fraction by 5. Okay, that's how I can get 10 at the bottom. Second fraction by what? 2. All right, I'm going to squeeze it in here. So that's going to make my numerator 15x. Okay, that's going to make the second one what? 6x. Very good. Equals to 63. So again, going back to what we talked about earlier, I don't need to write the denominators because they're all common. And now I can just solve it using integers. So that's going to give me 21x equals to 63. Divide by 21, and x equals to 3. Just a good way to get rid of those fractions so you don't have to deal with them. Can you keep them? Absolutely. Okay, because you can put them on your calculator and get the same answer of 3. All right, let's do number 7. All right, common denominator here for this one would be 8. So I'm just going to go ahead and write this over 1. And I do not need to change the first fraction because it already has the correct denominator of 8. So I'm just going to bring down that as a -5. I do need to change this denominator to an 8, so I'm going to multiply by 8. So that's going to change that to -16m. Okay, because 8 times -2. And then the second one here, I'm going to have to multiply by 2. So that's going to change that. 3 times 2 is 6m. All right, so when I combine my m's together, that's going to give me -10m. Divide by -10. And a negative divided by a negative is a positive. And now that's not 2, so be careful. It's actually 1/2. Okay. All right, in number 8, we have to distribute this 1/5. So we're going to say 1/5 plus 8/5 x equals 41. So everything in here already has a common denominator except for the 41. Okay, both of these have a denominator of 5. So when I put this over 1, I just need to multiply this last one by 5. So let's just go ahead and write these numerators down. I don't need to copy down the denominator. So I'm going to say 1 plus 8x equals, and can someone tell me what 41 times 5 is?
205.
All right, 205. And then we're going to subtract 1. That'll give us 204. And then we're going to reduce this fraction. So remember I told you that your calculators can reduce this. This does not divide evenly. So on your calculator, just put in 204 divided by 8. And then that's going to give you a decimal. Okay, hit your math key, enter, enter. It'll reduce that for you. And I think is it 21 over 2? What is the answer? 51 over 2. Is that right? 51 over 2? Okay. All right, so again, your calculator can reduce large fractions like that for you. So just type it in, hit math, enter twice. It'll reduce the fraction for you. All right, so I'm going to have you guys do number 9 on your own. So go ahead and do that, and then I'll check with you in a few minutes. So this is the time you get to talk with each other and make sure you're on the right track. For the answer, okay, so check your work. 80 is the correct answer. All right.
80.
Shh. Okay, so what you're going to do here is distribute the 1/3, and that's how we got this first step here. Okay, so then I only wrote down my numerators, and I got 5k plus 5 equals 405 because I had to multiply this one by 3. So that's how we got the 405 after the equal sign. And then from there, it was just subtracting 5 and dividing by 5. Okay. So it just gives you an alternate way of dealing with fractions. And like I said before, if you still want to insert the fractions into the calculator, that's fine. But some students find this method a little bit easier than just doing that. Okay. How many of you find it a little bit easier? Yeah, I find it a little bit easier too, just to get rid of them and deal with just integers. Okay. All right. So let me go over what your homework will be. If you go to, I'm going to go to Blackboard so you can actually see it. Tonight's homework is on Blackboard. So this worksheet is actually on Blackboard. So when you go to Blackboard, and let me just start from the beginning so you'll know how to get there. So when you go to Blackboard, you're going to click on your class, okay, because I always like to model where it is so there are no questions about. So you go to assignments, and then you go to the folder that says Unit 2, Calendar, Packet, and Assignments. Obviously, you're not going to Unit 2 Recorded Lessons because you were present. Okay, you'll only do that if you're absent. Okay, if you're absent and you need to look at the lesson, you'll click on Recorded Lessons for Unit 2. So once you click on that, it says homework for 9/20 and 9/21, and there it is right there. Worksheet, 3 types of solutions, and the ones with fractions. So it's really pretty much just like the page 8 that we just did together. So you're going, and you don't have to say one solution, because if you get an answer, that is one solution. But if it's no solution or infinitely many, for infinite solutions, you can just simply write all reals or the R symbol that we covered. All right, give me a minute. And you are allowed to use the method that we did with the fractions earlier. So if you want to change these fractions to integers, you can do that. Where all work should be done in your spiral notebook, all right, because you can't type it into Blackboard anyway. So yes, I will be looking for this, and I think I actually had that on the agenda today. Okay, that's your homework. Worksheet on Blackboard, show all work, all steps, so that should be an S, in your spiral notebook, okay? All right, who else had a question? Yes?
So I downloaded Mathspace on my phone, but it's like
all right, if you download on your phone, you have to actually click in through Clever. There should be a space that says log into Clever. Don't log into that page that actually comes up, and then it should work.